In April 2026, or the beginning of this year, very profitable companies are actually cutting people. Yes, that's right. Companies who have some impressive results in the beginning of this year, big ones like Oracle, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, they are actually, even though with great results, cutting people. And the reason for that, according to many of those companies, are because they are investing in AI technology, AI infrastructure. Look to this data because we need to talk about that. In a report from CNBC and connected to a report from CIO Dive, what we are seeing in the beginning of this year is that more than 92,000 tech professionals have been laid off in this first quarter of 2026. It's a huge number. And many of those companies like Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, Oracle more recently, they are cutting with the argument that they need to invest more on AI infrastructure. So they are not reducing on costs. They are actually reallocating where they are going to spend their money. So they are cutting teams, they are cutting complete departments to put this money from the left pocket to the right pocket. Is still like investment, it's the same thing or the same amount, but invested now in AI infrastructure. The problem is, or the reflection here is, we are seeing also on the news, and we talk about that a few episodes back, about AI being reported by consulting companies like Boston Consulting Group and McKinsey. It would be creating many jobs instead of cutting them or eliminating them. But the problem is, the data is showing that AI is opening opportunities for creating jobs in the medium to the long term. But the problem is, we are seeing the cuts happen right now. And if you lose your job, or if someone lose their jobs, they are not concerned about what the technology will help to create jobs in 5 years or in 3 years, because they lost their job right now. They need something now. They need a solution now. So the narrative is not connecting to all those cuts. And the concern here, as always, I'll keep repeating that, is on the narrative. Because we are seeing companies saying that they are investing this money in AI infrastructure. Of course, it makes sense. We are seeing a, a, a huge increase in this kind of investment right now, which is normal because of the moment of the hype for the technology. But those companies, they are having the most record results for some of them in the beginning of 2026. So it is not about reducing cost, it is about investing somewhere else. But as I keep saying, is this really the truth that we are actually seeing in terms of productivity for those companies? Because many of them, they grew over pandemic times and grew over the past few years very, yeah, I would say fast. Some of those companies hired thousands of people, and now they have a moment where they can, of course, invest in AI infrastructure and AI technology, but they have a good momentum also to lay off people using this narrative to make sure they come back to the normal level that they need to operate. And this is where I want to ask the first question. What are really the reasons that, in your opinion, are making companies just swap the money from the left pocket to the right pocket and make people lose their jobs? And for leaders, for managers, the question in the air is, of course, about priorities. What are currently the priorities that your company is saying as the most strategic thing where they are going to invest their money and their time, and how this is being reflected in a normal day at work? Because saying and putting money in AI infrastructure is one thing, but having this as a strategic goal to reach some kind of specific goal, some kind of specific KPI, is what I want to understand. Because if you have clarity that you are going to invest in this kind of infrastructure or this kind of technology, with and the reason for that is that you expect this kind of outcome in 1, 3, 5 years, that is one thing. But I am the kind of person who actually read the reports, read what the companies are saying, read what we are actually seeing on the financial reports, on the strategic definitions. And this is not quite clear. The investment in AI, that is very clear, but the expectation behind it, the strategic position from those companies, that is not super clear. And then I want to bring a question for you and for your career. How is your performance connected to that at all? Because what we are seeing is that no matter what kind of performance departments and teams are having, if companies need to cut to invest somewhere else, they will do it, period. But there are still some kind of skills and abilities that are very important from some of those companies and they need to keep. So, are you at least having some time or investing some time to reflect about what are those skills and abilities that could perhaps help you to keep your current job, or even though you swap a little bit where and how you deliver value, your skills and abilities are still relevant? Because this is the kind of reflection that I am having right now. And I want you, or I want to bring this thought to you maybe in your next walk outside, maybe your next shower thought, to reflect what are the skills and abilities that make you so different, that make you so unique right now, that you could use to make sure that your personal strategic position is making you valuable for the company you're working right now, or at least for your industry. If not the same company, at least relevant for the market. That is a kind of reflection I want to invite you to do. And if you have some ideas, please let me know. Leave a comment here because I am curious to keep this conversation going on.